Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about the UK budget. So last week, Rachael Reeves announced her budget for the forthcoming year. And to be honest, we saw a few fairly promising signs. We've got the scrapping of the two-child benefit cap, which, to be honest, is quite a big win for the left. We got a tax on mansions over 2 million. So a very small sign of a progressive tax, a hint at a tax on wealth, to be honest. But largely, the budget is skirting around the edges. We've had 40 years of neoliberal economics. The budget feels very similar to budgets of the past. All right, it's a little bit better than a Tory budget, but we've still got taxes by the back door from the freezing of the tax bracket thresholds, which means that if your pay increases and the bracket doesn't, then you're going to potentially find yourself in a new higher tax bracket. This is kind of a tax increase by stealth. And although there's some small wins, as we've mentioned, as we said, we're largely just skirting around the edges of any real meaningful reform. So why does this happen? Again, we have to look at the system under which politics is operating, which is fully neoliberal. The system is designed to serve capital. And what that means is that we're not going to get any real reform under this government. Unfortunately, they seem to have forgotten their roots, which were founded in labour unions and worker power. So until we get these things on the agenda, things like public ownership, things like ownership of utilities, investment programs to build adequate housing, social housing, the average Brit is not going to see much change in their lives. So at the moment, we're seeing a continuation of the neoliberal framework. Yes, Labour are slightly better than the Tories, who were just outright right-wing austerity, genuinely making lives worse for the working classes, middle classes even as well. But this is not going to go far enough. We know that we're in a political climate whereby reform are rising. We've got the rise of now the Greens and Zach Polanski on the left. Labour are not going anywhere with this type of budget. This type of budget, it's, to be honest, like I said, there are some fairly positive things in the budget, but it just does not go far enough, and it is not adequate at the moment when Starmer is polling so unfavourably. Labour are failing miserably for pretty much everybody. So unless they take a more radical approach with regards to the economy, I don't see this improving. And to be honest, this is kind of a signpost that they're not really willing to do so. Yes, as we said, the lifting of the two-child benefit cap, maybe the slight hint towards a wealth tax is a sign that they may veer to the left, but I don't really see it at the moment under Keir Starmer. So there's the potential, for a change of leadership in the next year or two that could give us a sense of optimism potentially, but right now Reeves and Starmer seem to just be annoying pretty much the entire electorate. They're not really committing enough one way or another to any particular ideology other than to neoliberalism. And it seems that this kind of centrist political class, they've been hoodwinked, they've been bought, they've decided that neoliberalism is the only form of economics. They believe the technocrats, and they still believe that growth is going to lead to an increase in living standards for everybody, which yes, it could do, but we can't have infinite growth on a finite planet. And we're going to see these problems that are already here exacerbating in terms of housing, wages stagnating. It's not looking to be going in the right direction. And as such, what you'll probably see is the increase in the political divide. Obviously, we've had for 18 months, 2 years or so now, reform gaining a lot of traction, which looked pretty depressing for a long time, but we've now seen the rise of Zach Polanski and the Green Party, who now have over 170 thousand members. And what's likely to happen with a budget like this? Living standards are not going to improve, or certainly not at the rate that the British electorate is hoping for. And so this divide politically will likely increase. So until, like I said, guys, we get something on the agenda, which is taxing wealth, which is public investment, which is building social housing, which is nationalising our public utilities and natural monopolies, then we're going to get the divide growing wider and wider. We're going to come to a point where we've got a choice. Do we go to the right and do we blame immigration, as Farage would like us to do? Or do we veer more to the left and do we tax wealth properly? Do we bring some power back into the worker and collective power, increase the power of the trade unions again, nationalise natural monopolies, and build social housing so that we can move forward as a nation properly into the 21st century? Or do we keep doing what we're doing? If we at the beholdence of the bond markets and we implement these fiscal rules which are arbitrary, which do not exist unless we say that they exist, and we carry on with a lack of investment, with no social housing, with wages stagnant, with power for the workers decreasing year by year by year, what happens? Essentially, we either veer to the right or we veer to the left. That's a choice that we need to make. But yeah, just my quick reaction really on the budget. Let me know what you think, guys. Was it a good budget? Was it a bad budget? To be honest with you, for me, completely skirting around the edges. First Labour government in, 14 years. Big opportunity that they've had last year, again this year. They've showed us now where they stand, in my opinion. They're not really on the side of the worker. So it's on us to build a movement, and the left are coming back strong. We've got the Greens, we've got some big movements, we've got the left-wing political media that seems to be growing. But yeah, let me know what you think about the budget, about the future. Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Let me know. And I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye-bye.